to the fucking podcast.
This
Episode
5? Yeah. Alright. Okay, brief. Sorry, we were off last week. We both, or I got sick.
And I am sick now.
So
It's inevitable to get both sick.
yeah, so we just gotta go through it and muster through. But we're just trying to be consistent. At least every 2 weeks is our consistency rate.
Yeah, sorry if I sound congested, because I am. So what are we going to talk about this week?
I was thinking the topic for this week will be communication.
Important skill lesson of the life.
What they teach in business school, which we both went to. We are both businessmen.
Woman.
I'm a businessman. You know that Jay-Z line? I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman. But honestly, like after joining the workplace, I do think there's a reason why communication is so emphasized.
How so?
I mean, I work with a bunch of like engineer technicians, so it's very like. I thought I took it for. I guess I took it for granted, like being able to just freely speak up about normal things is So, I mean, let's go straight into it for me. So, so my work schedule before it was like we had 2 breaks, right, and our lunch break.
Yeah.
And our last break was at 2 p.m. and then we ended work at 6. So we basically worked for 4 hours straight without a break.
So like the break time is not really.
It's not really ideal. It didn't make any
Split.
sense. Yeah. So then I was just like, after a week, I was like I was asking my coworkers like, oh, like what? Why is the last like shift of work so long? And they're like, everyone's like, oh my god, like that's like it's such a pain in the butt since like
So
day
no
one.
one ever mentioned it.
Yeah, no one
Everyone was.
No one questioned it. They're a little sheeple.
But everyone was bothered by it.
Yeah, and it's unanimous, and I was like, oh, like this is such an easy fix. Why don't you just tell the manager that? And then they're like, oh, like we're too afraid to. And I'm like, I was like, what? I was like, this is not a big deal to change. And then I was just like, oh, okay, guys, let's rally together and ask. And then we got to change the schedule. So now it's like, so after lunch, it's like 3 hours and 3 hours instead of 2 hours and 4 hours.
So what'd you say to change that? Which is like where's the communication part?
Well, first asked everyone like, oh, what do you guys think about this? And then I was like, okay, this is a unanimous thing. It's not just me, to make sure that I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, guys, let's I think because everyone does agree on this, let's it's not just one person raising a complaint, but the entire board. I was like, okay, like, so we have this problem. You and also you want to distill it to the boss, where it's like, okay, like, I think that this you have to make it work for everybody,
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, like, we have this problem, and here's a clear solution, and it will help us also like boost our productivity. We'll feel more like even workload will make us work more consistently. Sorry, and yeah, we just told her that, and then we gave her a proposed schedule, so then she would be able to like understand it more quickly than it's like just through words. So if you see it visually, then it's like it's more real. And then after she saw it, she's like, oh yeah, like that's an easy fix. And then yeah, I had coworkers that were there for a year and a half, and they didn't question it.
So the communication with your boss, there's no problem with it. It's just like
It's in their heads, like the mental like fear of.
no, I'm saying like the process when you're proposing it to your manager. It was just that easy.
No, I mean like, and then she had to tell her or the big boss. But yeah, it was pretty straightforward. But it was like she had to like tell them like, oh, like the workers are not feeling well at this time. So like, do you think we could shift it a little? And then
Yeah.
I was able to be done.
So the point of this story is to everyone should communicate when there's something in their mind.
And also tell your manager, not the big boss. You shouldn't trouble the big boss with those kind of problems.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
the manager is the intermediary.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
The problem before was no one was communicating. That's why the problem exists.
Yeah.
now.
but also when you communicate, you want to communicate to make it as easy as possible to not inconvenience them as much as
Yeah.
possible. So
Uh-huh.
by giving them like a schedule, like a proposed schedule, like oh, like this is the before, this is the after, like oh, this is why it would be a lot better for us.
Yeah.
It was very obvious to her, like oh, this is like this doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Because they have a different break schedule than us. That's why they didn't even like think about it. I
Uh-huh.
think because they start work earlier than us,
Uh-huh.
so like that break schedule makes more sense for them, but it doesn't make sense for us.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a you should talk to your. You should not be afraid to speak up. You know, it's like in class too. It's like oh, if you have a question, just ask the question because there's definitely someone else has the same question as you.
Mm.
'Cause my
So-
college class is like that, and I'm like the only one asking
So
questions.
Just be brave to speak up.
Yeah, no
It's
one.
legit.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's like being brave, but it's like it's more realizing no one cares, and you should be like a little selfish.
Oh, I think maybe thinking about like what you said, like oh, your managers they have a different schedule, so they won't even realize that.
Yeah.
When you and your coworkers know about this, you shouldn't even fear about telling them because you are thinking in their shoes, and you're like, oh, they don't know, they don't even know. It's not like oh, they know, and they're like putting a really strict rules on you guys.
Yeah.
So like maybe putting yourself in other shoes is also important in communication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you need to.
So it come off better. Like.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, you really have to consider the other person's perspective when they're talking.
Yeah, I think that's also another important point is managing your boss. You know, like you're not only being managed by your boss, you're also trying to manage your boss.
Yeah.
And not only like this kind of like when there's problem or like when there's something it can be optimized in the office, you like tell your boss and there's a way to tell them. Some boss are nice, they're chill, or some boss are like more like distanced. There are different ways to tell them.
Yeah, you have to know your boss too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And your manager. I mean, like the you want the nearest level for those kind of problems.
And I think another thing I learned, like if we're talking about workplaces, there's a way to tell them that you're doing something. Like you report what you're doing, not too detailed,
And
but
then,
you also have to constantly report to them to make them feel like, oh, like this person is actually like paying attention to the work. I don't know, cause my work like is like I don't see my manager every day. Like we just call sometimes, and we meet maybe
like touch
once
base.
a month,
Yeah.
like once a quarter. It's like if I don't say anything to her, what will she think? Like, oh, like
She just
she's not
forgets you.
working,
Yeah.
Like,
She has
yeah.
more things to
but
do.
sometimes I won't always say like, oh, I did this today. I did this today. It sounds too like just not important.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I ask question about the workplace. Sometimes I tell them like, oh, like I heard this from other people. It's like from different angles to
Condense it.
to make her feel like I'm doing something. And I
Yeah.
think so far it has been good.
Yeah.
She thinks I work hard.
Yeah. You gotta show that you're also doing things, because if a tree falls in a forest and no one is around to hear it, did the tree really fall? Which is basically like you have to like be visible, otherwise there is no like it doesn't look like you're working. You know. I think.
Yeah, but the point, I mean, our topic is communication, so I was trying to round everything about it, and you keep like diverse it. Yeah. This is bad communication.
I'm just I just like thinking the random
I think
trails.
for an important point is also think before you talk.
Think before you talk.
Especially if you're trying to express something that's longer, that's not like casual. You want to like state a point. You should think what's the like what are you trying to express, and then organize it well. Otherwise, it's gonna come out like
Jumbled.
yeah, like do you need business expense or not?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, like Bobby said the same thing too, where he was talking about like he really wants to like think before he talks, like considering becoming like articulate, well spoken. But for me, I don't know. In my experience, I do think that's important. I mean, obviously, I should priority into like words before I talk, but I think from my experience, I think like body language is way more important than I was.
What?
What do you mean?
Body language is more important than think before you talk?
Yeah,
How?
like because if you're okay, haven't you ever heard the thing where like the see the body language right here? That's a very defiant tone, so I shouldn't have said it so like that. Okay. No, but like if you say things like that and then the person is like very alert, then it makes them like it's like a little like defensive. You know what I'm saying? Or like it's harder to talk. It's really distracting. Your face is like no, okay.
What are you talking about?
Like okay. Like no matter how well you think of something to say or like well or perfect it is, like if your body language is not the right body language for the situation, you're not approachable, then the message will never get across. You know what I'm saying? It will
Okay.
automatically shut someone off a little bit.
Yeah.
So like
Okay, that's like to make someone open up to hear what
Yeah.
you're trying to say. But like in order to express your point clearly, you still need to think before you.
oh yeah. Okay.
Otherwise, it's gonna come up like all your conversations.
Okay. Yeah. But I think there's a what's it called? Like I think for me, I obviously like I should think more, but like the majority of what you consider should be being approachable, friendly, receptive, those kind of.
You think that's the majority? It's not equally important.
Yeah, for sure, 100%, and that's the reason why I think that is because like, then you don't even get a chance to talk if your body if you're.
But
Man,
what if
is-
you get a chance to talk, but you talk like shit,
I mean, at least you got the chance to talk.
and then you sound like a stupid ass?
Yeah, but I mean, see, but that's like bad body language. Then it feels like very defensive, and you don't want to use very like strong, like, and then start saying the words no to the other person, or like to make the other person say no. Then it feels very like closed off. You just want to keep it going, especially in the beginning. I think that's like the most important for like meeting new people is you want to keep a conversation going. I don't know because at my workplace, like everyone, like no one talks. It's a very Korean culture.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that's like.
Maybe that's more reflective of like my situation. But I don't know. I feel like it's body language. It's like it's easier to talk to someone. Okay, like imagine you're like in an elevator with like a white lady who just went to Zumba and she's like, "Oh, how's your day?" Versus like the cool Asian lady's like, "How's your day?" Like it's so different in terms of like how people like give off that energy.
So like you're saying tones, right?
Tones. I mean that's body. That's they call it body language. Is what I was thinking, right? What do you mean by tones?
Like what you just say, like how's your day versus how's your day.
But like
Tone difference.
it's tone. Okay, it's tone and body. Like it's like
Yeah.
movement.
Yeah.
There's yeah. It's everything. It's what is that? I don't know. What is that word? Communication, verbal, physical communication.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
But I still think it's equally important. You were saying that because you like the people don't talk, so you're making them talk.
Yeah.
Making the like just like chit chats, right?
Yeah.
But then when you're trying to say something to like someone that's already willing to listen to you, isn't thinking before saying it more important at that point?
I mean, yeah, of course. But like, I think, okay. It's important. It's also important. But the reason why I think it's more important for the body language is because then there wouldn't be the opportunity to chat if your body language isn't like conducive for talking.
Are we talking about chatting or are we talking about expressing something or like communicate? That's different.
I'm thinking like when you meet new people.
Yeah, that's chatting. That's different than what we're talking about. We're talking about how to communicate well.
That is not good body language, as
Oh
you
my
can
god,
see.
I'm gonna stop this episode.
Okay. But yeah, you should think things through. Also, can you remember to write down times? I'm gonna clip it and ship it. Is that okay?
Yeah,
Have a pen.
I have a pen.
Yeah. I like that. I'm gonna stop that episode. So
This is bad communication. You're just
Yeah.
insisting in your point.
Yeah, and you are insisting too.
I said I think that's more important, and then when you state that physical interaction is more important, and then I said, oh, okay, they're equally important, and then you still insist on you think it's majority of it.
Oh, okay. Then we can agree to disagree.
So you're still not trying to. Oh my god.
Nah.
This is bad communication because you're not trying to. You're not open up. You're just trying to say what your point is.
Okay.
You don't listen to other people.
I am listening right now.
So listening is also really important for communication.
The listening is very key.
It's mutual.
If you don't listen, then you're not a good speaker. It goes both ways.
Huh.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, think things through. What else do you think is another key aspect of communication?
Think and listen.
Think and listen.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what I think is also really important is you remembering people's names. That's very important. Like, have you heard that saying?
I think we're talking about different things.
What are we talking?
Remembering people's name is like
First level.
no, it's like a new environment, that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, go on.
Okay. Yeah. Focusing on new environment, like their first names are like that's the way that people reciprocate like communication the best is when they hear their names.
Okay.
Sometimes I'm in Walmart and then I hear like someone say Will, or maybe I imagine it and I'm like, did someone say my name? And then they're like, it's either someone else or I just heard it in the breeze. But it's like right when you hear it, it's like your attention is very like stimulated, you know. So, yeah, just be able to recollecting people's names at a new workplace. That's really important. So, can I tell them about the notebook thing?
Yeah.
So, like, what I did was like for every single level at my organization, I write down everyone's names and like where they are and like how the hierarchy is, so I can try to remember it because I'm really bad at remembering names.
Okay.
So then, I mean, I'm not perfect and I still make mistakes, but now I know like at least 100 people out of the 150 people at the organization. Like more often than not, I know who they are, and at least they know my face now. So yeah, I
So
was
you
just
were saying
it's good to because I'm not naturally good at remembering names. Like, you know, some people
this
are
helps
gifted.
with communication because
It starts the communication. It opens up a relationship to continue communication.
okay.
Like, it wouldn't be just weird for me to be like, if I say hi to someone every day, to be like, oh, like you know, go more into like details about their life, you know.
Okay. So I think we're talking about different aspects of communication.
Yeah.
You're so focusing on to start, right?
Yeah.
The body language to make people open up and to remember the names to start it.
Yeah.
And I'm more talking about like the process.
Like after you've been in it for a while.
No, not like the workplace, but also with people like like your parents, your friends.
Like an established relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
the way to communicate. Those are not like the points, right?
Yeah. That's not the points.
Yeah.
Like yeah, no, it's a different level.
Yeah.
So what else would you say is important for like a long relationship? Like important parts for communication?
I think of course like be honest, be open, like to say everything you're thinking, otherwise it's gonna be imbalanced.
Mhm.
But also like what we mentioned before, like stand in other people's shoes to
Like empathize.
empathize, and then so the like when it comes out it doesn't sound like self-centric.
Mm.
Like when you're communicating, it should be like you're thinking about other people too, instead of just insisting in your points.
Yeah. So you gotta be flexible.
I think it's easy to become like that, self-centric with parents or significant others,
Yeah.
and it leads to a fight.
Yeah.
And that's like not efficient communication.
Yeah, it's like you could have talked it out before it gets to a certain point.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But like when people get too comfortable, like, oh, this is like the opposite side of what you're saying. These are like totally strangers, and then these are like
Totally
people that you're-
comfortable.
yeah, too comfortable
Ah.
with.
There's two spectrums of it. There's two extremes that
And
you
so
could be at.
these people, they're already open up. They're there. They're listening to you. You
Yeah.
don't need to know their name. You don't even call them their name. But these are the people that you need different skills to communicate with.
Yeah, like some type of like you can't just get like too stagnant.
Especially you know them that well. Like different people have their way to communicate, I guess.
Yeah.
So to know the people well.
Yeah,
To empathy,
The-
empathize.
the personalities, their mannerisms,
Yeah.
their yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's also important when it's like it escalates into a fight. It's also important to pause when you realize there's emotion in it.
Yeah. Like take a breather.
Yeah, it's
Meditate.
like when one of them or like both of them, both parties realize there's too much emotions. Maybe just stop the communication.
Mm-hmm. Oh, like
Continue after.
yeah, like after you tempers flare,
Yeah.
cooling the tempers.
Yeah, so like always remember the main things you're trying, the main message you're trying to say. Like don't add a lot of
Extra variables into this
Yeah.
recipe.
yeah.
It's like, oh, you know how to make chili, but you shouldn't like tweak the chili recipe so much that it's like completely different.
Sure.
Yeah. This is a good reminder to take a
Yeah.
deep breath.
I think like not even just fight. It's also like when you're just like doing a podcast or you're telling some friends what your thoughts are. It's important to always think about what your main message is. Otherwise, it's gonna like flood everywhere and it becomes like a
It becomes like spaghetti on the floor.
oh my god. Okay.
I'll write that down. Oh yeah, Jamie, write that down. That's 2150. Yeah.
But yeah, I think I realized that ability is really important when you're like chatting with people too. You know, like when it's a group of 4, group of 6, like someone is talking about something and it's really easy to become like all over the place.
yeah.
You forget what you were talking about in the like maybe the last topic or like what the main point is.
Oh,
Like even
yeah.
if it's like like these people are in a group, they're trying to make a project for school, for work.
Mhm.
And then it's like really easy when there's no one keeping
progress.
keeping the message like back, like let's talk about this. It's gonna just like flood everywhere.
That's what a good interview does is they keep the flow of the message.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
important. It's
It's a good
important in
interviewing
interviews too.
skills. Yeah, like what's his name? Ro Jogan.
Oh, I mean, yeah, that too. I was saying the work interview, the job interviews.
Oh,
Like,
but
when the interviewer asks you like, oh, tell me about this story. Why does it
matter.
matter to this role? And then sometimes it'll just really easy that if you're not thinking of the main message, it's
You could-
just become like, oh, I did this when I was 5, and then and then
But it's
just like
hard to tie it back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's
So I think
it's-
it's important to always think about what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
Like think before, but also keep thinking during.
Darn. Yeah, like maintain some kind of focus, but be able to also have fun with it. Like you what's controlled. You
Yeah.
want some control. It's like a dog.
Especially if it's something that you're talking while talking. Say sorry.
Sorry.
Write that down.
I'm not writing that down. That's,
But it's important to, like, for something is like, oh, when you're not even sure about what you're saying yet. It's like, oh, like, for example, someone asks you a question and then you're like trying to explain, like there's like logic and stuff. And if you don't think about the main question and your main like thought, your answer, it's gonna just become like
spaghetti on
you
the
got
floor.
lost. Yeah, spaghetti.
You get lost in the sauce. Spaghetti on the floor is a good way to describe it, huh?
Sure. It's hard to clean up.
Yeah. You know who's a good example of someone who I don't really think they think that much before they talk, but they're able to manage to like pull it off a lot?
Who?
Donald Trump.
I was thinking.
He's the greatest
No,
bullshit.
he is thinking.
He's thinking, but he's not like thinking like the way you're thinking. He's thinking more like he's thinking very on his feet. He's bullshitting really well, I would say. Like, but he's doing it really well. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like he's able to ride a point and like detract away from the main message and like attack the person itself.
So I think what he was thinking, or he's always thinking, is how to catch people's eyes.
Oh yeah.
Is that, or like how to catch attention? That's what he's thinking.
And he's doing it really well.
Isn't that what you're doing sometimes too? Like when
How
there's
so?
when there's a bunch of people, like there's a party or something, and then you just do whatever shit that's interesting. Say whatever shit that's absurd, but like it's funny.
Yeah.
Or like it
it's
like
just
catches
fun.
people's attention.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun to just say things. I love talking.
Yeah.
I've never felt like I love talking more than until I started my job. I love talking. I love talking, man. That's
Well,
oh my god.
yeah.
Talking is fun. You know, growing up, okay, I don't know, that's a side point, but like my mom was a little worried that I was retarded because I couldn't talk until I was 3 or something, and then she took me to the doctor, and basically the doctor's like, oh, he's fine, like developmentally.
No, like tell them about like how you point at the
oh yeah,
video.
oh like even before I could talk, I knew how to read. So like I like this movie called Dinosaur from Disney a lot. So I knew the symbol, but I didn't even know like what it meant. And then we were like Kmart. So that's a long time ago. There's no Kmarts no more. And we basically just saw like how like there's like an entire row of like VHS tapes, and then I was able to like spot like the one, and I was like like I clearly in my brain I knew what it is, but I couldn't say the words that I want to express. Which is honestly, that's how I feel a lot with like language even now actually. Like I feel like I know what I want to say, but in another language I don't know how to express it like the proper way. So I feel like it carried over.
Good job tying it back to the topic. It's like, so like there's also different language.
Oh yeah.
It's like, oh, like what you're saying, like body language, it's so different from different country, different culture.
Oh yeah, like the Mexicans, they're like no mames, like they do like they do like a lot of like movements, or like Italians, but like maybe other countries it's more like there's different movements that you have to incorporate to fit.
Or
like,
even the like yeah, like that,
like Indian people.
Yes is no.
Yes.
Something yeah. It's like you have to know what it is like to communicate. That's I think that's like a basic layer of communication.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like even like Korean, there's a lot of like how to politely say it, or like how to casually say it.
And you have to say it kind of indirectly, you know. Like in English, it's like, oh, you just say it.
Yeah.
And it's like you do your hand, but it's like Korean, it's like, oh, you defer, maybe you look away, like you like, oh, like
drink.
I don't think this is the right way to do it. Like, do you think this is the correct way? Instead of like, oh, that's wrong. I don't think this is how we should do it.
Yeah.
It's so different.
That's
you know?
why people are not talking in the company, because it's Korean.
Oh yeah, for sure. So
Yeah.
I mean, like I'm also trying to like learn. I'm also trying to learn like how to like adjust to that too.
Yeah.
Be polite. Confucianism. I think that also a really key thing is like learning how to talk in other people's languages, like not forcing them to speak in the language that you're comfortable with, but what they're comfortable with, because it sounds a lot sweeter when you hear your mother's tongue, you know.
Yeah.
So like if I see the like a Mexican, I'm like, oh, like hablas español, no sabo coreano, mamalona. They love that. They love that slang. And then like in Korean, I'm like, I blunder my way through it, but like I think people understand how difficult it is to speak your language. Because okay, imagine how difficult it is for you to speak their language, then it goes vice versa equally. So if you empathize with that, then you trying their language means that they'll empathize back to you and be like, oh, like this kid's trying, you know.
Yeah.
So like there's no shame. A lot of people, they're really embarrassed in terms of language speaking, of like looking like a dumbass. But it's kind of like going to the gym, you know? Like the first time you go to the gym, you're like worried that people are judging you. And maybe they are, but like it doesn't really matter. Like you should just like do it for yourself. And then that's how I think of it too. It's like, oh, once you get over the embarrassment, it's a lot easier to like actually make progress. But you really have to it's a long journey to try to get over that embarrassment. You just have to keep doing it over and over again, and then you just like, okay, whatever, I'm just gonna. Or you go to my company and no one says a thing, so then you're like, okay, please let me talk. I'll talk in any language. I'll speak in Esperanto if I need to. Well, Guante Yamas Chubili. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'll say anything at this point. But yeah, I don't know.
Sure.
I mean, how do you feel like? I mean, your company, you speak a lot of Chinese. Do you feel like there's opportunity to learn different languages within it, or is it just very like mono-linguistic? I mean, there's some English, right?
Yeah, not really. I mean, I speak both languages, so it doesn't feel that strong for me. But also, it does feel like it does like people trust you, not trust you, but people respect you more when you're a good speaker.
Like fluent.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Like a level of proficiency.
Yeah.
Versus like, what do I say? 안녕하세요?
Yeah, I think like because to that point, most of the workers in my place that speak only Chinese, or like even the competitors, like when they only speak Chinese and they didn't speak that good of English, people think I'm better because they can speak it. But
for sure.
So
like in terms of like professional, it's like, you look more capable just because you're able to speak the language better.
Yeah.
You look like an authority.
Or like you talk, even as if it's the same language, they think they trust you more because the way you talk is not like too it's professional.
Or it's confidence. You exude confidence.
Confident, and the way you talk is professional. Like you don't just talk casually when you're talking to like some new people or like.
Do they talk casually when they?
So for example, like the competitor, they really like force their way into the conversation even if people don't want to. They'd be like, oh, like nice bag, like, oh, like where did you get your hair done, like something like that, when so obviously you're trying to sell something. I'm not saying that's bad, that's one way of selling, but that gives people different vibes. Versus like, oh, excuse me, do you have a little time, like can I talk to you about this? And
you go at the right time.
You have to observe the people, like what type they are, and then do that. Come up with a different. You
gotta come in a little lubed instead of raw.
Yeah.
Because when they come in like in the middle of a conversation, it hurts. Yeah, it hurts. Yeah, they just raw dog that conversation.
Yeah.
Honestly, I am that like competitor. I'm raw dogging straight through.
Yeah.
But I mean, sometimes you gotta get it. You gotta get in. If no one's opening that door.
So that makes you feel good, but other people feel bad.
Oh yeah. Okay. You have to do both. In the beginning, sometimes it's awkward, so you have to get in, and sometimes you have to. Like if you know them or like you can observe it, then you can also find the right time to get in.
I think that's why people think our dynamic is funny.
Oh yeah, because they're very opposite personality types. But it's good. It's good practice to like, you know, you get a little bit from me, I get a little bit from you.
Yeah.
I'm that bold American type, and you're that typical quiet Asian lady, right?
Am I quiet?
A little. Like okay. If it was in a group setting, you would always defer. You know what I'm saying? Like you wouldn't be like the first person to speak up. It's like, you would wait for everyone to talk, and then it's like you would bring it up, but you wouldn't be like,
I want to sound smart.
Yeah, you want to sound smart, but like you're not the loudest voice in the room.
I don't like being the loudest place. Yeah.
You know, I was reading the Teddy Roosevelt biography, and he was mentioning how like. There was like one time there was a presidential dinner, and like the person who was there was like, Teddy Roosevelt spoke for 95% of the dinner. No, they didn't say 95. They said only 2 other lines were uttered by other speakers than Teddy Roosevelt. He spoke the entire 4-hour dinner all by himself. But it's like he has like a vigor, an energy, honestly, life force within him to like carry conversations.
Do you feel like that?
A little. but like not like as capable as him. He seems more like he's able to carry it because of he did a lot of crazy things growing up, so he has just like such a breadth of knowledge. Like he wrote a book that's like still a textbook on naval war history at the age of 23. And then like he was going to law school and being a politician all at the same time. And he's like he was getting good grades at Harvard while hunting birds, just like drawing, sketching, like going on those vacations, wrestling. He has like a just like he's a very type A personality. Like you know how like they describe the East Coast, New York, it's like, oh, I did this and then I do this and then I do this. Like Teddy Roosevelt seems like that, like on steroids. It's like, oh yeah, I walked 25 miles to this morning, and then I'm going to law school, and then I shall be beginning my book, and then I'm gonna be going on a short walk with my dear little wife, my pretty little wife, and then I'll be reading a book before I sleep or two, and then I'll go to sleep by 10, and then that's my day. And it's like, damn, that's a week, man. He just fit a week into a day.
But I think like that reminds me one point. It's like being a broad perspective make you a better communicator too. Like you read a lot of book, you talk to a lot of different people.
Oh yeah.
In different age, different function, different industry,
different ethnicity.
Yeah, and
just different experiences,
from different cultures.
Yeah,
or like you do different things. You like you rock climb, you watch movie, you like
you just
go hike, and you have a lot of
experiences of my life
to resonate with other people.
Yeah,
that makes you a better communicator too.
It's like, oh, you want to be interesting.
Yeah, you want it to be interesting, but also you know what people's feeling are. It's like you can better empathize people.
Oh yeah,
because you've been through these experience.
Yeah,
or like you've heard what other type of culture people will say, other level of people will say,
or like you try different foods. It's just like I think being a communicator is also just being a good understanding of the world at large.
Like don't just close up and stay at home and just do like the single things you do.
Like don't just play video games and go touch some grass.
Yeah, don't just watch porn.
Yeah,
talk to real human.
Go talk if you want to talk to girls. Like just go out and talk to girls. You know.
Yeah.
touch grass. I love that. But yeah, like I guess that's a good reason why I'm able to talk to anybody is because there's a famous Kanye line where he says like, "Cause my life is dope and I do dope shit," and I really do think that's the way you should live life, is doing things that you really truly enjoy. And then it becomes like, oh, if you're passionate about your own thing, it's easy to talk to other people about what they enjoy, you know. You have to also be very positive. It's so like tiring talking to a negative soul. It's like it goes on and it's like, oh, why do you do this? Like it's dragging instead of like, oh, you like computers, and then it's like, oh, like what kind of CPU do you use? What kind of like, if you could talk in their lane, it's also like you're speaking in their language too, because it's like language that they chose or their group culture that they chose, you know. Like, oh, like this person really likes fitness.
Be truly curious.
Yeah, stay curious is I think that's the rule number one. That's how it all stems from. If you're not curious, then you're like a limp starfish in the bed. Like no one wants to do that, you know.
Yeah. Like
you have to always ask questions, and it's like you have to show genuine, authentic interest in another person instead of that fake oh, that's a nice bag. Like, oh yeah, okay, you really care about my bag.
like Californians.
Yeah. Like California, yeah, but like you want to be like a New Yorker where it's like, oh, you do that? Okay. Like,
I think a combine of both.
Yeah.
The balance in between is good.
Yeah, like in life, you want to walk the fine line. You want, I guess in a way, you want to be like a lowest common denominator, like radio song. Like everyone can like enjoy that song, but no one hates it.
Yeah,
but
I think that's also why I want to talk later in the group, because you listen to others' opinion first.
Oh yeah, you pick up like their habits too.
You realize what's the dynamic in this group and what are people thinking.
You know, the streamer Ludwig is also like he also got really big off of being a good guest on other people's groups. But it's like, oh, like if he's with like one group that's like a lot quieter or comfier, then he's not gonna be like dropping the dick jokes like all of a sudden. But it's like if he's with like a more edgy crowd, then it's like you could say a lot more like crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But he
makes
fits the
sense.
crowd. But like, that's like something I like admire a lot. But I'm like, oh, I should really, I should work on that because I am that like, you know, I just plow through it like a rhinoceros in
You're
a China
getting better
shop.
at not interrupting people, I think.
I think it's because we've mentioned it so many times in
You're
the
just, like,
podcast.
constantly thinking about it.
Yeah, no, it's just like you bring. I think for me, if I get enough repeat frequencies, then it starts to stick. But if I like repeat it over and over again, like a mantra, then it'll become like real.
Mm-hmm.
So like for me, it's like, oh, I was like obsessing over fitness, and it's like every other thought was like, oh, how can I like improve my performance? How can I do this? How can I do that? I mean, it might not look like it, but like, like I was obsessed with it, and then that really like started like changing, rewiring the programming that was in my like like my brain, you know. And it's also like it's a positive, motivating force. And when you keep repeating like the interrupting, communicating thing, and we just talk about communicating, it makes you aware of like how to speak right, the correct manner in which to speak. So yeah, it's just good to like always mention practice, and then being like bring your awareness back to it, and then it actually does improve you. I also just think I'm a very impressionable fellow, so like if you repeat it enough times, it'll start sticking.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Be flexible too.
yeah, walk the middle path. Walk the middle path.
Another spaghetti spill. Yeah, but yeah, I think we can make a couple conclusion on how to be a good communicator. So I guess be able to listen and be truly curious and empathizing.
Yeah, empathize.
And if in order to do that, you can be you can try to absorb more like different
sources,
diversity.
Yeah.
Like,
and experience life more too, so you have things to like
so you can empathize people better.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to empathize, to listen, that makes you better. That's one point.
Yeah.
And what else do we say? Think before you talk. So like you think before you talk and think during it. So like you always know why you're talking and it's clear expression.
Yeah, stick to the core message.
Yeah.
Like you're keeping that in mind.
And then be open, like your body language, your tone, and
don't make statements that are extreme where people would say no. You don't want people to like close themselves off. If you say no, then it starts blocking off doors.
Yeah, like figure out the way to talk to this certain person, how to make the conversation going in order to express your point, or like to share what you want to share. Yeah,
and also like if they're talking, like let them talk about what they're interested in instead of forcing your way, because then it's easier for them to like talk about what they're interested in or about themselves. Because everyone's a little selfish at the end of the day.
Give people a chance to talk to.
Yeah.
While you want people to give you a chance to talk. That's useful. Yeah, so that's like another point. And then what else? That's pretty much it.
Yeah. Oh, and then maybe like practice speaking in other languages, or like, I mean, it goes. Yeah, like if you could practice another language,
that's to the first point.
Yeah.
Like so you empathize better.
Oh
you
yeah.
Like try to like engage in the communication more.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then be able to sense the vibe.
Yeah. No, like
sense the vibe, sense the tension, like
sense what you can and cannot say.
Yeah, and if you should stop the conversation, stop it. Like
yeah, you can always walk away.
Yeah.
You know, let it cool down a little.
Yeah.
Or just, you know, you can always take a breather in a conversation. There's no rush to get to anywhere.
Yeah, to know what to say, to know the people, to know what you're thinking.
Yeah. It's just a good, you know, take your time.
Yeah.
Be deliberate, but go in the direction that you need to go.
Yeah.
Then I think that's a good stopping point for now. Yeah.
So do we do our little vocab now for the week?
Yeah, let's let me teach you a word.
Why?
Because it's fun. So I want to now we can switch it up.
Okay.
Alright, so in Laotian, hello is sup buddy.
Like what's up, buddy?
Really, like hello is sup buddy.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I know a Laotian.
Yeah, I know, but like sometimes it could be a little wrong, you know.
Oh.
Like sometimes you remember it, but
No, 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 no. I've done it like 5 times now.
and then for
She-
sure the person understands.
Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, you're somebody. Like, yeah.
Okay.
But okay, my pronunciation might not be the best.
Mhm.
So, grain of salt,
Because
big
there's
grains of
so
salt.
many times he learned like
Chinese?
other language and just showing off to the people that he met that speak that language and no one understood it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He's doing this.
Oh no, the Vietnamese is too hard, man. That Doi lạc đũa hang gỗ.
That's racist.
No, that's what they say. Doi lạc đũa.
Can we look up
right.
how to say the thing, like how does Google pronounce it?
Hello in
Sup,
Laotian.
buddy?
Okay. Hello, Laotian. Sup, buddy.
Does it have a a little button to let it speak?
Yeah, sup. Let me type it in YouTube.
Yep. Type pronunciation.
Pronunciation. Yeah.
Sabadi.
Somebody.
Sabadi.
That
Somebody.
means hello in Lao. For example, if you greet someone, you should usually say Sabadi. So next time you see someone, you should say Sabadi.
Sabadi.
Somebody.
Sub like a slow. Sup, buddy? Like sabadi.
Somebody.
Okay, I've never met a lot of people.
Yeah, me
Not
too.
person.
When I met her, I was like, oh, it's like a Pokemon that I caught. Like, it's my first Malayocean.
Oh my god, he literally said that to her face.
She thought it was fun. Okay, we were like 20. We're 20, so it was like fun to talk about Pokemon.
Yeah.
People as Pokemon. You're my
Yeah.
first Laotian. It's a shiny. It's a shiny. Oh. But yeah, on that note,
Yeah, I know that the guy from Myanmar is also the only one.
yeah, so it's just like fun to be like, oh, you just joke about it. It's like, oh yeah, you're not like a common, you're not a common type. I thought she was Mexican at first. I was just trying to speak Spanish. She's like, I'm Asian, and I'm like,
Sabadi.
sup,
That's cool.
sup, buddy. It's funny that the person who's
Sup,
teaching us
buddy.
is Korean.
She is?
Yeah, it's Kimmy K.
Oh.
But yeah, that's our word for the day. Sup, buddy.
Sabadi.
Sup, buddy. That means hello in Laotian. So say
How many
sup,
language
buddy.
of hello can you say?
Let me think.
Hi.
But okay, hello, ni hao, 안녕, hola, sup, buddy. Is selamat pagi hello? That's good morning. No.
What language is that?
I don't know, Indonesian or Thai or something. I forget. Wait, Japanese is Ohio.
That's morning.
Uh,
But I think Japanese people, they just greet morning, afternoon, or evening to say hello.
yeah. Oh shoot, do I only know 6? That's so sad. Wait. I don't know French. I don't know.
Konnichiwa.
Okay.
That's
Six.
afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. What's night? Dang, I only know 6. I don't think I could remember another one. How many do you know? Say it.
Just those.
Taiwanese?
Li he.
Li he.
Yeah, Li he. Yeah, learn that too.
Li he.
Yeah, Li he.
Wagong daigi. Li he. Japaboy. Li he.
Li he is Li is ni, he is how. So ni hao, Li he.
You hi. You good? Ni hao is just you good?
Yeah.
You know, when you think of it like that, it makes Chinese funny. Like every time they say ni hao, it's like, you good? Can you imagine? You're just like, you good to your grandma? Hey, you good? Okay. But Li hao. Wait, what? Li he?
Li he.
Li he?
Yeah, I think I only know those two.
Yeah, right?
What is Thai? I think I know Thai.
What's Viet?
Sawadika. That's Thai.
Jawadika.
Sawadika.
Oh, sawadika. I know that one.
Sawadika is for men. Sawadikap is for women.
That's
I think.
similar to Thai. Thai is like that.
That's
too.
Thai. That's Thai.
Oh, there's Thai?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was Viet.
That's
What's
Thai.
Cantonese?
Lei hao.
Lehao? Oh, okay.
Leiho.
No, it's just Lehu,
Leiho.
Leho, Lehai,
Leiho versus Liho.
Weho.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I know that in Cantonese.
Yeah, it's the same language pretty much. So we just count it as like 1.2.
7, 8.
That's not
9.
7. That's 1.5. No, I'm kidding. And then what else? You don't know any Western languages, huh? I'm trying to think.
Just only Spanish.
Some Spanish.
Ciao.
What's that from?
Italian.
Oh yeah, ciao. That's Italian.
Yeah.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Or is that bye? No, ciao is bye.
No. Ciao is hi.
Oh, it is?
You want to look it up?
I trust you. Oh, okay. Thanks for today, guys.
Thank you.
Peace.